ता एव sabīja samādhiḥ. Namaskar. Today it's April 28th, 2026. Each year on March 14th begins my 100-day journey in returning to the essence of yoga. In celebration of International Day of Yoga on June 21st. This year I chose to revisit Maharishi Patanjali's Yoga Sūtra and share my daily practices inspired by it. This is Satvik Yogi Path. Satvik Yogi Path, it's a simple, non-religious, global way of living with clarity. Welcome to day 46 of Satvik Yogi Path. Today in Yoga Sūtra 1.46 or the 46th Yoga Sūtra from Maharishi Patanjali's Yoga Sūtra, first chapter Samādhiḥ Pad. It says, Ta eva sabījaḥ samādhiḥ. Let us understand what it means. So this is going to be very interesting. All the in the previous 3-4 days, we have been practicing clarity on an object, clarity mixed with thoughts, then clarity becoming pure. So all these ways of practicing clarity, this sutra tells us that clarity is on an anchor, supported by anchor, and that is still in practice. So all the clarity that we have studied over the past 3-4 days, we have practiced, it still is on, it's supported by seed or sabījaḥ. Still in practice, the anchor, the clarity is anchored. So let us understand what Maharishi Patanjali says. Maharishi Patanjali tells us that even though we explored clarity with gross objects, subtle objects, mixed clarity, pure clarity, and the finest point of perception. But today, Maharishi Patanjali says that all of this is still practice, whether it's on gross objects, subtle objects, mixed or pure. It is still practice. Ta eva sabījaḥ samādhiḥ. Now let us break the words one by one and try to understand. Ta eva. These very states. Sabījaḥ, with a seed or an anchor. The gross object, the subtle object. So these are the anchor or sabīj, the seed. Samādhiḥ are still within practice. All the clarity that we have explored over the past few days, gross, subtle, mixed, pure, finest, is still supported by an object. It still has a seed. It is still sabīj samādhiḥ. But this is not the final state. There's more. It is the deepest clarity within practice. So sabījaḥ, samadhi, which is still in practice, it is the deepest clarity within practice. Now, if I have to give an analogy, I will give the analogy of the lamp with a wick. A lamp, okay, before I move on, I'll give a shout out to Joy3656. Hello, Joy. So nice to have you. Then I see Stacy Han. Stacy, did I pronounce the username correct? Hi, Stacy. So nice to have you in this session. This is so beautiful. Can you believe it? It's my 100 days journey or returning to the true essence of yoga. And on the 46th day, I have you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, the analogy to better understand the the finest state of clarity, sabīja, samādhiḥ. So let us just imagine that a lamp is burning steadily. Lamp, a lamp is burning steadily. Why it is burning steadily? Because it has a wick. The lamp has a wick. It is burning steadily. The flame is bright. The light is clear. But the wick is still there. Let us try to understand once again. You see a lamp with a wick. The flame is bright. The flame is bright. The light is clear, but the wick is still there. Maharishi Patanjali says that our clarity is like this: steady, bright, deep, but still supported by an anchor. And the anchor here for the flame, for the light, is the wick. So our mind works in the same manner. Clarity is like it is steady, it is bright, it is deep, and yet it is anchored, it is supported by an anchor. Clarity can be deep and still have an anchor. Now, why this matters in our practice or in our daily lives? Why this matters? Let me once again give a shout out to, yes, I have to wear my cool glasses. WWINGR. Hello. And then sense, is that your username? Sense hyphen. What is that? Looks like alpha, beta, gamma. I don't know. I can't read. 2x. What is this? So, since I could read that, the first part of your username, every year on March 14, that I start my 100-day journey in returning to the true essence of yoga. Yoga, not the whitewashed yoga in the western part of the world that we all see around us, but it's the authentic yoga. Maharishi Patanjali compiled this in 250 BC. So I I practice, through my practices, I return to the essence of yoga. And this year particularly, I am revisiting Maharishi Patanjali's Yoga Sūtra. And today it's the 46th day. And you know, on the 100th day, first of all, when is going to be the 100th day? Every year, it is on June 21st when we celebrate International Day of Yoga throughout the world. I celebrate from Times Square, New York. That is where I celebrate from with the world. So each day, my yoga practices are this year based on Maharishi Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. Did I answer your question? You asked, what is this? So if I did, if I was able to answer your question, please do let me know. So, why this matters at all? We are talking about attention, we are talking about focus, concentration, practicing, and how do we do that? So, we have been practicing stillness, we have been practicing slowing down, we've been practicing nothingness, we've been practicing detachment. So, all these practices, how does it relate to our regular day, everyday life, and why this matters? This Sutra 1.46 teaches us that clarity can be anchored. Deep states, deep states of clarity. Now, yesterday I said that when clarity is at its finest, attention becomes subtle and clarity becomes the to the finest point, aling, where it cannot be analyzed anymore, it cannot be divided, or it's indivisible. Even at that state, which is the ultimate, still it is not the ultimate state of clarity. Still, tons of things to be done. So, this today, Yoga Sutra 1.46 is Maharishi Patanjali says that over the past 4 days, we were practicing different stages of clarity. That first, we concentrate meditate on a gross object, any object around us, and we concentrate on it. And then the subtle objects could be the sound from my computer machine, or subtle things, movement, any sensation in your body. So, and then the mixed, and then the pure form. So all these different ways that we had been practicing clarity, today in 1.46 it says that clarity in practice can be can have an anchor, which is beej, seed. So, deep states, even the deepest state of clarity can still have support. And the practice continues. The mind it is okay if the mind can rest on a seed or on an anchor. That anchor could be it could be a word for you, or it could be a moment for you, or a picture, anything. And yoga is a journey. It's not a jump. It is a journey that we have to make. So, what are we practicing today? Are there any other shout outs to be given? There is another one. I Let me see. Who is this? Oh, how nice. Thank you. So beautiful. Thank you. So, what are we practicing today? We will notice our anchor. We will let attention rest lightly on that anchor. We observe clarity with the seed or the anchor and soften our thought with gentle repetition of Now, even in my classes, when I was studying yoga, so since my yoga always has been, it's an integral part of my life. I learned yoga right from the childhood years in school. It used to be a curriculum in our school in India. Now we used to have a lot of fun with when it anytime it would be like om, and we would always think that you just become so calm and nice, and it feels nice. But gradually I learned that om, the universal, it's a universal sound and made up of so many parts. Which is it rises in the belly, it moves through the chest, and then it softens at the lips, and then the pause before the next. And om also, it's a great way to practice the ultimate breathing technique. And what is that? Is the as slow as we can go as we are exhaling, as slow as possible. And that's the goal of our. Sometime back, somebody wrote to me that we have been given only certain number of breaths throughout our life, and I really appreciated that. Yes, of course, but it is then also onto us to work on our breath. So, why to breathe? Why to rush for things? Why to chase things? Why not just practice and just slow down, take it easy, slow down? And that's exactly what we are doing here. So, we, our first stillness practice starts with settling the breath. And settling the breath is just similar to any musical instrument or anything that you would begin. You We tend to tune it. I'll just take the example of a musical instrument, any string instrument, whichever is your favorite, wind instrument like a flute. But even our own voice box, our musical instrument, which is built in there, we warm it up, we tune it, we warm it up. So even for breathing, we before even we settle our breath, how does one settle their breath? We say, okay, take a deep breath in and then just breathe out. But there are some steps that we have been following, so let's do it together. To do it, back, sit comfortably. Now, when I say sit comfortably, of course, by this time it's day 46th. You already know that when I say sit comfortably, comfort only means your back and spine straight, and you deliberately, with awareness, make your back and spine straight. Back and spine straight, you're not seated on your uh, tailbone. So you're very well using your hip bones and your glutes to sit if you're seated like me on a chair. So back and spine straight. Now roll your shoulder if you have to. Roll it. As you roll your shoulder, your chest opens up. And when your chest opens up, your lungs get some extra, even if it's a little bit, but extra room to work to its fullest. So sit comfortably. The Satvik Yogi Path. In Satvik Yogi Path, you sit comfortably. It only means that back and spine straight. You're looking at a point at the eye level, straight ahead, And most importantly, your smile. So we smile and we look at that point at the eye level. In this case, I'm looking at you. That is the point I'm looking at, which is at the eye level. And with a smile, with one hand over onto your navel, gently, and we will breathe. We will breathe, and you would just observe your breath. Nothing, no judgment, no nothing, just observe. So, through this, we are also learning to just observe or just notice. Noticing or observing is when there is no judgment. You're just noticing. Just notice. Like you're just witnessing, period. You're not judging. You're not saying, oh, my breath is too fast. Why am I breathing like that? No, you're not doing anything. Just make sure your back and spine is straight, your chin is slightly tucked in. So, additionally, you are fixing your alignment. So, slightly tucked in and with a smile on your face. And now just breathe in, breathe out. You would just breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And just stay like that. Keep smiling because you did a good job. You did not judge your breath. You just noticed your breath. You just observed your breath. And open your eyes. Now, since you have observed your breath, now you would breathe again. Of course, we are breathing, but this time with awareness. How? Now you would breathe in, out, but with awareness, which means so now you would be more aware of the oxygen, the intake of oxygen around you. And if your belly is like a balloon, so as soon as the balloon it extends when it is filled with air. So the oxygen we take in our belly extends belly button. That's why we are placing our hand onto our belly. So as we breathe in, the belly extends. As we breathe out, it distends. And that's how we are building awareness. So let's do it 3 breaths. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And just stay like that. And open your eyes. So, observation. And then we are developing awareness now. And now, with this awareness, we will equalize our breath. So, in observation, we were just observing my breath, how I'm breathing, just observing. Second, with awareness, we are developing awareness now. Oh, so I'm taking in oxygen, so my belly button rises, and then as I'm exhaling carbon dioxide, it is distending. So that is awareness of your breath. Now we equalize the breath with awareness. Now we again, as we equalize our breath, we do it, we breathe 3 times. So one breath cycle is breathe in, out, then pause, breathe in. So that's one cycle. So this time, every time we are practicing 3 breath cycles. So let us equalize our breath in 3 breath cycles. Now, the count could be your choice. I would choose 3 counts. You can choose 4 counts or 5 counts, depending on you would know your capacity. Or it could be just 1 or just 2. But make sure when you exhale, it is the exact number of counts. So let's do it. I'll count to 3. So I'll equalize with 3. Place your hand on your lightly onto your navel. And now just few short breaths. Now breathe in, equalizing. Breathe in, 2, 3. Breathe out, 2, 3. Breathe in, 2, 3. Breathe out, 2, 3. Breathe in, 2, 3. Breathe out, 2, 3. And stay like that for some time. Contemplation. And open your eyes. So, we started with observing our breath. Then we we were breathing with awareness. And then we, just with awareness, we equalized our breath. And now comes the fun part, because now you would be increasing your exhalation by double the count of your inhalation. So let's do it. And to do that, once again, adjust your back and spine. Back and spine, roll your shoulder and chin slightly tucked in. And with a smile back on your face, place one hand on your navel. But remember, this time, not only with awareness, you are the extension and the distension, then also you are doubling your exhalation. So now it is very important for you to choose the number of counts. So if the number of counts is 3 for inhalation, then the exhalation would be obviously what? 6. So it is up to you how many counts you make. So I will go with, you know what, just to be at the safer side, just 2. But you can choose whether it's 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. I would I would suggest just stay within 2 or 3 in the beginning, and then as you practice daily or wherever you have time, then you increase, because you remember that your exhalation will double. So if say for example, if I do 3 count, then my exhalation will be 6 counts. And it is not abruptly you will leave at towards the end, or you are out of breath or something. So just, there is one principle of yoga that I always follow, and it is sthir sukham asanam, which means sthir is stability, sukham is comfort, and asanam is the posture. So we are not competing with anyone. It is, we are not even competing with ourselves. It is, as long as you can, you know, you will learn your own capacity. As long as you are stable and you're smiling and you're comfortable, that's your perfect posture. So remember that. That is your measure. As long as you feel stable, as long as you are comfortable, and you're still smiling, that's your perfect posture. So I will count to 3, and then I will have to exhale for 6. So if I count for 2, then I will just have to exhale to 4. So to be at the safer side, I'll just go with 2 counts of inhalation and exhale for 4. So let's begin. Placing one hand on my navel, and you place one hand lightly over your navel, just to see the extension and the distension that you would as you breathe in and breathe out. So let's go with, I'll go with 2 count. Few short breaths. Let's begin. Breathe in, 2. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. And just stay like that. Check on yourself if you're still smiling, because if you are, slowly open your eyes. That means you had been in your perfect posture. So I'm so proud of all of you that you've been there, you've been doing it with me, practicing with me. This is incredible. So I can't thank you enough. So we this is settling our breath. Settling our breath. Slowly, gradually we get there. Like I said earlier, yoga is a journey. It's not a jump. It's a journey, and you slowly see the transformation happening. Now, I don't know what kind of transformation you are expecting, but I have become much calmer than I used to be. And now let us um, get to the second practice, which is choosing our anchor. This anchor could be a breath or a sensation or just your presence. The presence right here, right now. So choose your anchor. It could be breath, it could be your presence, or any sensation in your body. So that anything can be your anchor. And then you notice the support. Feel how clarity rests on your anchor. So as you concentrate on your anchor, you need to choose if it is your breath, is it your breath, or is it your presence right here, right now, or just a sensation in your body. And then, as we try and concentrate on our anchor, again, the mind starts to, our mind starts to mm, get all these thoughts. Anytime you would like to, you'll start concentrating on something and your mind starts to get filled with thoughts. But your job is to not ponder over your thoughts or chase the thoughts or follow the thoughts or become the thoughts. You would, anytime you feel like that, confused or like feeling like running after the thoughts or chasing them, just bring your focus back to your anchor. And that anchor could be your breath or your presence or any sensation. So every time your mind starts to get distracted, you would just bring it back to your anchor. And that is how we rest with the seed, the anchor. So we just stay with the anchor. And now let us practice bhavna. Bhavana, the contemplation. The contemplation. Clarity can be deep and it has a seed, so it has an anchor. Clarity can be deep, it can be the deepest, but it still has an anchor. So today I have a challenge for you. It's the day 46 challenge. What it is, today you would pause once and notice the anchor. Today's challenge is a challenge, literal challenge. It's difficult because today's challenge is that you would notice the anchor that supports your clarity. That could be your breath or presence or sensation. Choice is yours. But you would pause once and you would notice that your anchor supports your clarity. So let's wrap up with the Om. It is optional, you do not have to do it. I love to do it because Om gives me an opportunity to practice my exhalation going as slow as possible and and it is much longer than the inhalation that I have taken. So I'll end with 3 Om, and we practiced this before that. So feel it from your navel. It starts and then it moves through your chest and then it softens at your lips. Let's do it. Back and spine straight, chin slightly tucked in. Few short breaths. And now, if you're ready, take a deep breath in. And with exhalation, the Om sound. Let's do it. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath in. One last time, take a deep breath in. Now bring your hands in front of your chest and rub your palms, which is also called Hasta Mardhan in Sanskrit. And now gently place your warm palms, cupping your eyes. And in the darkness, blink few times and your hands gently sliding down your cheeks. Open your eyes and right in front of your chest, and this is called Anjali Mudra. This is the Anjali Mudra. And I thank you for your time. We meet again tomorrow. Until then, stay warm, stay open, and most importantly, stay honest to your own story. Thank you. Keep smiling.